What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be making a turtle pond out of this 110 gallon tub. That's 110 gallons, pretty deep. Turtles are still babies, so should be enough for them for a long time. This is what they've been staying in. I've taken most of everything out of it, but I haven't been able to fix the filtration for a while, so we're going to do a whole new setup. Mostly so that I can get them out in the sun when it's not cloudy like it is today, and do an overflow on it so the rain won't fill it up like it's doing right now. Don't want it to overflow, but that's pretty much how we're going to start it out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole right here, and this is where our overflow is going to be set up, but we're not going to do it all the way at the bottom. That way, even if we drain this, there's still a little room for the fish that eventually might end up in here, but that's where we're going to start. And then after we drill the hole, we're going to fit in the bulkhead. Inside of this is 2 inches. We had to drill a 3-inch hole in the outside. Now put in the O-ring that goes to this side of it. Now that we have our Teflon on there, we'll just screw this right in. And that should be good right there. Now you're going to want to measure some PVC to about where you want your water line to be. So my water line is going to be right around this line right here, give or take, somewhere in between these lines. So I've more or less got where I want my PVC to be measured. I just kind of swipe my finger because this PVC is kind of dirty. Now I'm going to cut it. Now you can see I got my piece of PVC, pretty short, but doesn't really need to be very long. Now I'm going to wash it off real quick and then install it. Alright, so now we're going to hit it with this primer. And we're going to hit it with some of this cement. And we're going to hit this PVC with some of this primer. Stick it in there. We're gonna let that dry. And now we're letting that dry and cure. We're gonna start working on the filter. Now before we really get on the filter, I'm gonna go ahead and start soaking some leeka balls. That's gonna be our growing medium for our plants. That way we don't have to use topsoil. And soaking these is not just gonna help clean off some of that extra debris that they've got on them, and also soaking them is gonna keep them from floating up when we go to put them in the buckets. Alright, so now we're going to be drilling a hole into this bucket. right about here. So we can fit this little unicycle fitting. So we can fit a piece of PVC pipe. Fitting here, which it's kind of tough. There we go. Cool. So now we got that going. Now we can put our piece of PVC in. Went through, and now we'll start working on the media. Alright, so first bit of media we're going to put in this filter is going to be some lava rock. Now, lava rock is a good porous rock that's good for beneficial bacteria to live on. And the next one that we're going to use is some filter floss that I got off Amazon. Filter floss is pretty cheap, and this is good because it'll get a lot of the finer stuff as it's going through the filter. Now the next thing is going to be this filter pad. It's a little bit thicker and isn't as porous as this, so it should catch a lot of the thicker stuff that tries to come through. And the last thing that we're going to have to do for this filter as a whole piece is to drill a hole right in the top. No problem. Alright guys, so I got the filter kind of hooked up to the old pond to kind of get a little start on it, get some of that beneficial bacteria going to work. Next thing, we're going to add some sand. Next thing, cinder blocks. This will provide hiding spots, but also get it high enough to where it can be a basking. Okay, so the next step is just to fill it with water. So I initially made a mistake and I ended up putting the O-ring on for the bulkhead on wrong. So we had a bit of a leak, but took the bulkhead off, you know, after I drained the water, put it right, tightened it back up, and so far there seems to be no leak, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. But I moved the basking platform over to the right some. That way they have a little more open water on one side. I'm going to end up putting the plants over there too. And the waterfall is going to fall in that direction. So I say waterfall, the flow from the filter is going to fall over to that side. Okay guys, so I went ahead and put the filter on the new pond. And the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get some plants set up in here, hopefully. So I've got 2 plants. I've got this monstera, and I kind of read that these don't really do good in a riparian setting, you know, with the roots in the water. It's a white bird of paradise plant, but we're gonna give it a shot, and if it ends up not working, then we'll just repot it, put it somewhere else, and we'll get another monstera or an elephant ear or something, and we'll see what happens. I need to get off all of this soil. If it loses some roots, that is just fine, but we don't want any soil, any of this topsoil getting into the pond. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to get as much of the soil out as possible. So now I've got this bucket. You see I drilled a bunch of holes in it. That way the water can get in, but they're small so that none of the clay balls can get out. Now, just gonna start filling it. And fill in the rest around it. Okay. Now we've got all this clay in here. It's ready to go into the pond. And I found this old dog food bowl. Not really using it, so I'm gonna set that down here real quick. Okay, I've got it kind of propped up now. I ended up putting this little piece of flat rock I had on top of the dog food bowl. The way it hides the bowl, and it's also got a lot of overhangs, so it kind of acts as another little hiding spot for fish or turtles. And it props up that plant just a little bit higher so that turtles can't climb up into the basket. And I also cut out a few of those stems that were hanging real low. Now, it's pretty small now, but eventually, I mean, these things get big. These monsteras get huge. I ended up not having a second pot for this peace lily, so I'm gonna end up having to go get one, maybe later today. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of this beneficial bacteria, and this is a pretty big tank, so I might have to get more of this later, but for right now, should be all right. I'm gonna add what's left to the filter. Just gonna move the hose a little bit, and then I'm just gonna pour the rest in there. All right, guys, so this is what we got so far. Looking pretty good. I still got to find another pot for that so that I can stick that in there, or maybe I'll just leave it out. Maybe I'll just get another planter for that and put it somewhere else and get another monstera. But the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some of these fake plants and we're gonna put some fake plants in the water. Now, live plants would probably be better, but turtles tend to eat live plants, floating plants. Turtles tend to eat floating plants a lot, so it maybe I might throw some some floating plants in there later, but for now I'm gonna leave these fake plants in here. It gives us a little more coverage so the turtles feel safe, so any fish we put in here feel a little safer, and they won't eat them. Now, I give some coverage. Makes it look a tiny bit better. And that's what we're working with at the moment. Now, eventually that plant will get bigger, because the great thing about plants is that they soak up all the nitrates and nitrites and ammonia in the water, and that's how they grow. And apparently plants that grow above the water do it even better than plants that grow in the water. Alright guys, so I think it's finally time to start taking these turtles out. Oh. Got one. Tiny little baby. Go ahead. Oh, he's trying to get away. Put him out on this basking platform, and he can decide if he wants to run off or not. Come on, little baby. Where you going? There he goes. Oh yeah. A lot more swimming space. Vertically, at least. Alright. Who's next? Oh, I think I see one. Yep. I see two. Two turtles. Two little babies. This is the biggest one right here. And then this is another little baby. Now, we'll just set them down. Let them decide if they want to go. He's going quick. He's going. Oh. Hanging on the edge. And looks like he might just hang on the side of the wall like Spider-Man. Oh, there goes the other one. Come on, little buddy. You got it. Oh, there he goes. Now, can't really spot any of the turtles, but that's okay. We want them to feel safe in this little home we've provided. Now, the great thing about the way I set this up, is they've got that rock they can hide under. They've got this log and these plants that they can hide under. They've also got a little bit of swimming room underneath these cinder blocks on both sides, over there too. And then on this side, they've got more holes. Same on the other side. So they've got as much hiding places as they need, and as much swimming room as they need. And I might change the pump out on that filter. It's a little strong, but turtles are nasty. Some of the fish that we might put in here are pretty nasty. And so I overkilled it a little bit. It's an 800 gallon per hour pump. Might knock it back to like 400 gallon per hour. See if that helps. And if not, well, then we're just gonna have a lot of movement. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for today. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and next time we see this, probably be putting fish in it. Later.